This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. Magazine publisher and entrepreneur Judith Mancini is sharing captivating conversations with experts in their field about the latest trends in our ever-changing world to help you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Judith Mancini today will spark your interest and inspire you to lead your best life ever. And now, here's Judith.
Snowflakes falling down, the nights are all aglow. Families gather round, feel that holiday flow. Pine scent fills the air, stockings on the wall. Time for laughter and cheer, big and small. Join the holiday hop, oh, we never want to stop. With jingle bells ringing and carolers singing, we're as merry as we can be. So grab your boots and join the beat. Let's do the holiday hop on repeat. Cocoa in our hands, scarves tied up tight, spinning round the fire. Faces warm and bright, gifts piled high and wide, bows of red and green. Everywhere you look, it's a holiday scene. Join the holiday hop, oh, we never want to stop. With jingle bells ringing and carolers singing, we're as merry as we can be. So grab your boots and join the beat. Let's do the holiday hop on repeat. Oh, the laughter, joy, and cheer, the best time of the year. With friends and family near, it's holiday time, so let's make it clear. We're doing the holiday hop, oh, we never want to stop. With jingle bells ringing and carolers singing, this is where we're meant to be. So come on, let's be light on our feet and keep the holiday hop on repeat.
Hello, everybody. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah. I am thrilled to also be sharing this music with you. The album is called A Christmas Promise, and it's from our friends. This is a picture. Oh, I'm so bad at this. A Christmas Promise. And this is from our friends who come and share their interesting things they're doing with us. Jeff Bonilla, Georgie Donovan, and Charles Moss. They have put this album together, written the songs, performed it. It's fabulous. And you can find it wherever you find your music, or you can find it at their site. It's kind of complicated to read. Broken Heart Rebels .bandcamp.com /e-Christmas. I'm going to read that to you once more. It's kind of too long to put on the crayon, so we're just going to do it like this. Get your pencil out. It's https // you know how that goes for every good website. brokenheartrebels.bandcamp.com / a, that's a little a, lowercase, -Christmas. Okay, and again, A Christmas Promise. What a great album cover. Really makes you want to have some snow for Christmas, doesn't it? Okay, so that's the good news of the day. I want you, to, as I said in the description of the show, I want you to spread gratitude, thankfulness, love, peace during this season. You should do it all the time, particularly during this season. And remember, Santa Claus is a real person. Don't forget that. If you have older kids and younger kids, and the younger kids still want to believe in the real Santa Claus coming to your house, you should explain to them the story of Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick, because that also gives them hope of seeing and loving somebody in their life who has passed on. Saint Nick is remembered for hundreds of years of spreading joy around this time. Saint Nicholas, it does tie into the religious time of the year. Okay, so we have a lot of funny, weird news to talk about. There's a lot of strange things going on. First, we all know that Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, pardoned his son, Hunter. And first, I want to tell you what the difference between a pardon and clemency is, because it was not clear in my head exactly. So I'm going to read to you. I can't see, I don't know. This is from a dictionary. A pardon is a specific type of clemency where the government completely forgives a criminal conviction, essentially erasing the punishment and legal consequences associated with it. That's what Hunter Biden got the first time around. Okay? He has been convicted of a crime. Clemency is a broader term encompassing various acts of mercy that can include pardons, reducing a sentence, which is called a commutation, or temporarily delaying a sentence, reprieve. That's sort of what they're trying to do to President Trump, incoming President Trump. But it does not necessarily fully erase the conviction itself, meaning a pardon is always considered clemency, but not all clemency is considered a pardon. Are you confused? Okay. The interesting thing is that just a while ago, President Biden is commuting sentences of 1,500 nonviolent offenders in the biggest single-day act of clemency to date. America was built on the promise of possibility and second chances, the president said in a statement on Thursday. So these are people, there are 1,500 offenders and that are getting their sentences commuted, and pardoning 39 others. It's the most that's ever been done since President Obama, where he holds the record for the most up until this that President Biden is doing. So this is what Biden is trying to do while he's president. If he can find his way onto the stage or into the office. Poor man really needs help. I'm just, look, he's not the man I wanted in office, and he certainly is not helping the United States at this time when he is going to try to visit every country overseas before he leaves office, wandering off when they're having nice programs for him, honoring him. My God, he fell asleep at the table and nobody bothered to wake him up. This is so embarrassing for the United States, and it's dangerous. And then why, when later on and he's out of office and he's watching television with Jill, who I believe stabbed him in the back, I think she was also responsible and is responsible for keeping him in that seat so she can continue to live in the White House. This is ridiculous. He should have resigned. And it's a disgrace how the Democrat Party treated him and did their little coup to get him out of there. Well, they got their payment in return, didn't they, since Kamala wasn't elected. All right, so let me explain to you that this is 2 weeks after Biden announced he had pardoned his son Hunter, who is due to be sentenced on this Thursday, that's today, for a conviction on federal gun charges. He had also pleaded guilty to a separate federal tax evasion. And earlier, Biden had ruled out using his executive powers to pardon his son. Well, that didn't last very long, did it? I expect to hear something else from the White House about, or the DOJ, the Department of Justice, about Biden doing something else for Hunter. We'll see what happens. Anyway, half of these people, a lot of these 1,500 offenders are nonviolent, and they were placed on home confinement for at least 1 year under the COVID-era CARES Act, the White House said, while adding that they had shown successful rehabilitation and strong commitment to making their communities safer. I don't know, but the 39 pardoned individuals were all convicted of nonviolent crimes. They include a decorated military veteran who volunteers at a local church, a nurse who leads responses to natural disasters, and an addiction counselor who works with young people. Well, I'd say they sound to me like they're pretty upstanding citizens, so I don't know. They should have never been arrested or put in jail or housebound. I don't know. I don't know the details, so I shouldn't say anything about it, but it seems like Biden has gotten it into his head that he still has these powers and somebody is feeding him these things that he should do, going to visit Angola and places like that. How embarrassing for him to fall asleep at the meeting table like this. My gosh. Okay. Well, the other big thing I want to talk about right now is how safe is the United States? You know, we pride ourselves on having a strong military, and including the people like the Marines, the Army, the National Guard, the Coast Guard, things like that, and the Air Force. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. And we consider ourselves to have quite an outstanding intelligence service with the CIA and the FBI and all. So what is going on that 40 plus drones, the size of SUVs and the weight of SUVs, they've estimated that the military and whoever is interested in drones, I seem to think in my own head that private citizens know more about this than the military, and people supposed to be taking care of us and keeping us safe. The people in New Jersey are frightened. Now, you know, excuse me, I have a throat problem today. And every day I'll tell you how I got it, but that's another story. These people in New Jersey and all are frightened of this. I would be too, quite frankly. Now, I have had drones when we lived in Oak Park in California before, in Southern California. We had a pool in the back and we lived on a hill that was steep, and there was a guy who used to come down on the street below us that was a dead-end street, and he would pull over to the side and he'd set his drones off. And he'd fly over our house, look at the pool, I don't know, check out my daughter and my friends, my daughter-in-law and her friends. I don't know what the heck he was doing. I didn't like it. So I took my camera out and I started taking pictures of his drones. And apparently he could see I was taking the pictures. I don't think he could access the pictures, but it seemed to scare him away because he was just playing with a drone. So, you have young kids playing with them, adults playing with them, everybody. But that's not what's happening in New Jersey. These are huge. If a drone fell out of the sky because it ran out of fuel or the battery ran down, we're not sure how these drones are being taken care of. Who's controlling them to see what neighborhood they should fly over and how low they should go and how high they should go, and should they go to another neighborhood or should they stay in this one? And they're close to military installations. Do you recall the balloon, the Chinese balloon that just floated happily all across the United States by military installations, by farming lands, everything? Well, we never got to know what they were doing, what they were taking pictures of, what they were doing, if they were spraying terrible poisons over us. Now, that was not a small balloon. That was not something you went up in to have your bottle of wine and your loaf of bread and some cheese on a romantic balloon flight. That was huge. So what is going on? Now, I don't want the government telling me that I'm perfectly safe if I live on the seacoast and I can see our submarines, our ships going past. They go out on maneuvers. They have to practice. They have to keep in training. I can go around Camp Pendleton and I can see the people. Is it still named that? I'm so mad that they changed the names of all these places. At any rate, we can drive past Camp Pendleton where they actually train in tanks and things like that. So we know that the military is ready to protect us. But why can't they share some intelligence about these drones with us? Because this isn't just a couple neighborhood kids or a couple neighborhood men or women playing around with the little drones that you can buy on Amazon or someplace else. These are big. These are big, capable of collecting intelligence, capable of having weapons on board, whether it's spraying poison, whatever they're doing, it can't be right. Now, they say they haven't seen a human doing anything with them. Okay, so should we go backwards a little bit and see what happened with all of these unidentified flying objects that even the military looks at or tries to look at? Well, if there's no human being in it, what is it? And they can't see what's controlling it. Are they from another planet? Who knows? I'm not one who's always been thinking about unidentified flying objects and the Martians coming to visit us, but I am beginning to wonder what country is spying on us, and I think it's China. I don't think it's Iran. I think Iran has run out of money. Iran ran and spent their money. Who knows? Biden might give him some before he leaves office. He's giving everybody else money. I don't think it is Iran, though. I'm not an expert on this. I'm giving you my opinion. I think it's China. I think China is a major threat to the United States. And I don't normally do just news shows, but I'm very upset about all of this. And I can't wait until the president-elect is inaugurated and can sit at his desk and start signing these orders and getting people to tell us who's in the drones or anything else. I'm just absolutely thrilled about the new administration coming in. And just the drones are just one of the major problems we have that I think parts of the government right now are trying to cover up. Now, don't try to blame Trump because he has nothing to do with it. He is not president and he would never do anything like that. I don't know what Biden knows, but I doubt that he knows anything because I don't think they're talking to him at all. So couldn't we get somebody from the DOJ or the Department of Defense? Couldn't we get anybody to come and talk to us? Well, I guess not. They all have the same story. I'm sure that the phones and the lines to these different department heads are all talking to each other and saying what their story is about these drones. Now, I have some more good news for you. Let's talk about Christmas holiday scams. Okay? If you're on the internet and trying to shop, there are lots of sites that are buying email lists from various sources and sending out emails to anybody. It could be you, it could be me. What I want you to do is you see something, you shouldn't even be opening them or scrolling on them because you don't know where they're coming from. And they're phishing, Phishing, phishing. They're looking. They throw out something like a phishing line. That's where this is coming from. And they see if they can hook you. And once you click on that in the email, that they have somehow gotten your email, and you open it, they have access. The way they are, they're criminals. They have all your information. They could have your bank account, your multiple bank accounts. They could have your social security number. They could have anything. They could have the name of your firstborn and your lastborn grandchild. They could have your mother and your father, your date of birth. They could have everything. So if you see a site coming over there and you just have to see what they showed, you should never open them in the first place. But if you want to see what it is, write it down on a piece of paper, what the URL is, and close out, delete that, and unsubscribe to that email. Then you can plug in their email address and see if it's legitimate. If it was me, I wouldn't shop on any of those sites. I wouldn't open them. I wouldn't do anything. And I'll tell you why. Because I've been hacked. You haven't enjoyed life until you've been hacked. Okay, so my bank account was hacked. This was, oh gosh, maybe 8 years ago, something like that. And that was early on. So I had to close my personal accounts. And the bank, unfortunately, closed my business account, which really totally screwed me up. So I had to redo all of that, which is a pain in the neck. Okay. Fortunately, they only hacked into it, but they didn't take any money. I think they figured out, I check my bank accounts and credit cards every morning and every night these days, ever since I got hacked. Now that's a pain in the neck. And I know what I charge, and I know how to write checks, electronic checks, or a paper check to a charity who prefers them that way. So I know what should be on my bank account, and I know what should be on my credit cards. I suggest you do the same thing. It is a pain in the neck. I agree. But in this day and age, you can't be too safe. And this is the prime time rather, that people, nasty people, start scamming you and trying to steal everything from you. Oh, hey, Jeff is here. Come on in, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Oh, hello. How are you?
How are you? This is Jeff Bonilla, the guy behind that beautiful Christmas album. I mentioned Georgie and Charles also. We had this here. We played the whole song.
I heard that. Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, you did? You were listening? Great. Okay. we are talking about right now, we talked about the drones over New Jersey. I don't know if you heard that part. Now we're talking, did you?
Yeah, no, I really have this. It's just insane with the drones. If you want to talk about that, but
Well, we can talk a little more about it, sure. And we'll get back to the Christmas scams in a few minutes because Christmas scams are running rampant now. But yeah, let's, what do you think of them?
I mean, I was going to be funny and just say I think they're actually UFOs cloaked and disguised as drones.
Well, I almost said that. I said, because the government can't give us any answers to any of it, and they're supposed to be the size of SUVs.
It seems like the government doesn't want to give us any information on it.
Well, I think that's it. They don't
Yeah.
want to give us any. I mean, I don't believe they can't get information from them, or why they don't take it down. Why don't they go capture one with something, put it on the ground, and take it apart?
It's gotten so insane because literally these could be drones that have EMPs on board. They could have, some kind of
What are
toxic,
EMPs?
like an energy bomb that could take out our grid.
Oh,
It's like not like a nuke, but it's
but it takes all the communication
takes
away.
out all electronics. Same with the balloons. That's how they're deployed usually. The EMPs is balloons.
Wow.
I mean, who knows what's on these drones if nobody's seen them? I mean, I can't believe. I mean, not even local law enforcement are being called out, investigated. It's just, have we become that complacent? Zombies where we don't care anymore.
Well, I think they're lying to us. They
But I
just
mean,
keep lying to us. But, some of the governors and the mayors and all are getting quite upset. I mean, they're screaming in their interviews that they want help, and nobody's helping them.
I think I was more talking about just the general public. I mean, they're not shooting at them. They're like, where's the kids with the slingshots and stuff? It's just
exactly.
There's something else going on, and who knows what it is. They're always using cover stories like Iran and whatever.
Well, I don't think it's Iran. If it is a foreign entity, I think it's China. And I had just finished saying that before I started talking about the bank scams coming around now. And I do think it's China or Iran, but I think Iran is out of money. Unless, as I said before, unless Biden decides to send them money, he only has a few days left and he stinted everybody else money. Who knows what he'll do? And he did shoot down some missiles. I mean, he's getting us into World War III. And then you have the drones over here, which could help with World War III. What are they thinking?
Well, I think it's all by design, really.
Well, I think it is too. I mean,
they'd rather rule over ashes than give power to Trump. That's the bottom line.
Well, I think it is too. Was I talking to you the other day about something happening in the next 4 months?
Maybe. I mean, I know it's a subject that's kind of a lot of people don't tune into or are aware of, but I had mentioned to you something to do with the remote viewers, which is
yes.
So it's something that our military got involved in, and it's basically, for lack of a better word, it's psychic espionage. And they started doing this back in the 70s. They spent a bundle of money on it, and all the guys that were trained on it have since left the military, are now in civilian life, and they're continuing the practice of remote viewing. There's some institutions that practice it, and just put some perspective on it. They used that back in the 70s when they had that. I think they had hostages. I think it was in Iran or somewhere that they rescued, but they used the remote viewing to get their data on where they were and everything. So it does work, but it's not 100% accurate. So the military gave up on it because it's maybe 70 to 80% accurate. but not feasible for what the military needed it for. But what it
What
is
about drones? Could they use it on drones?
well, what it is so here's, okay, this is going to sound really out there, but I'll go ahead and say it. There's a particular group that's been doing remote viewing. They do like a month in advance, and they see what's going to happen in the next month, right? So they're basically looking at things that spike high on the timeline of our life, right? So they predicted Trump was going to win. They saw that happening. A lot of people, I guess, predicted that. But anyways, for January, from December, January, and March, or through February, I'm sorry, they predicted a lot of unrest, a lot of things going on, a lot of military activity here on our soil. Okay. Now, the one thing that these guys are really into, the guy who founded it is, he was like a professor, I think either at Columbia or Cornell. I can't quite remember. He was pretty well known and regarded, but he got into the ETs. He started remote viewing the aliens, and at some point he parted ways with the university because, you know, what they're about. So that's what he devotes a lot of his time to. And I'm just saying what he's done. I'm not saying, hey, this is all true or anything, but this is the stuff he's been studying. And he's been making contacts with what they say are good ETs, and then there's bad ETs. And he works with the good ETs. And the communication he's been having is that it's time for disclosure. Like, they're like, hey, the governments know about us, you know, it's time that the public knows about us. And they told him, or he was able to figure out from doing his thing, that within the next few months, they're going to be showing up everywhere. They're just going to be showing up and being able, and so that we can see them. They're not going to be cloaked or whatever it is that they do to disguise themselves. They're going to be very visible everywhere because they want this culture.
This good ET could come down and have clothes on like you and me.
More like it sounds like they're going to let their vehicles be seen. So they're UFOs.
Oh, and maybe not them themselves.
So I mean, I am kind of wondering, like, you know, people are calling these drones, but could it be that they're not drones? You know, could it be that this is part of their thing where they're showing themselves?
I think they could be anything. I mean, to me, they could be loaded with some kind of bombs. Poisonous.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. And the fact that our military is not taking action on it is really strange, right? Really, why wouldn't they? It's very strange.
Because they know what they are. That's what
I'm saying. So maybe they know what they are. Maybe they're drones, or maybe they are UFOs, and they know this, you know. I know the military monitors this guy's channel a lot. And so if it is part of the disclosure that they're trying to get out there, the other thing is that what they've discovered is the ETs are very concerned about any kind of nuclear war taking place on Earth. They don't want that to happen. So they have said they will intervene if they see us heading towards a nuclear war. So I don't know. I'm just throwing that piece out. But
so does this gentleman who stayed in it and is still conversing, for a better word, with the ETs, are they on our side or are they on the bad people's side, like China or Iran?
The ones that he communicates with are the good ones. He says the bad ones have influence over the bad actors in the world, the bad politicians and stuff. They're able to influence them through telepathy and stuff. And so there's I guess it's almost like Star Wars, where there's like this good and bad factions that have been fighting for thousands of years, you know, and we're just another planet that they're sort of involved with. And they've apparently cut deals with the government where secrecy is involved, but yet they lend the government's technology and things like that. So it's really complicated when you start getting into it. But I can tell you from my perspective, I've seen two things that to me I would consider UFOs in my lifetime. One was just last year, and it was a friend was up here at my house. We're in the backyard, and I think it was when they were having some asteroids or something were flying by, right? And they say if you go out, you can see them and everything. So we were out in the backyard that night, trying to see if we could see anything, and we couldn't see them. But at one point, he looks up and goes, well, what's that up there? And we looked up, and it was like this black object moving fairly slow, no sound, no lights, nothing, but you could see it. You could make it out because as it was going by, it would block out the stars that it went in front of, right? And it was a full moon. So that's the only reason we were able to sort of see the outline black object, right? That was moving really slowly. And as it came right up to the moon, we figured, okay, now we're going to see it. It poof, it disappeared. And we were both like, wow, now that's weird. And I live over right by SFO, San Francisco Airport. So I know what all the planes look like and what they sound like. And that was not,
Sure.
it
Yeah.
was not a vehicle that I would recognize. Interesting enough, I put in a call or I emailed this UFO mutual something network. They're called MUFON. I'd never heard of them, but I looked them up because I was just curious, like, what was that? I sent an email, described what I saw, and about a month later, I got a call back from them, and they, asked me a couple of questions: who I was, how old I was, blah blah blah, and they said, "Yeah, you saw something. Those are reports we've had from other people of exactly what you're talking about: unidentified black object,
Well,
soundless." So
I don't believe that this many people could all say that they have seen things like this without it being true. Now, I'm not saying necessarily it's the Martians coming down to see us. I don't know who it is. But I will tell you, way back in 1967, when I was a stewardess for United Airlines, of course, I lived in an apartment with 4 other girls. So I was the one who got the single room. I was happy about that. But I had a window looking outside, and in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, this was in the Chicago suburbs, I was awakened by this thing that was right outside my window, flashing light. And I thought, okay, so the cops are here for some reason. And I look out, there were no cops. There was nobody. Pardon me for using the word cop if you don't like it, but that's what they were called back then. There was nothing. There was just kind of like a ball, like you're saying, a black object, only this one was flashing lights and then just disappeared.
I had a similar experience when I was a kid. Me and my friends and his mom were driving up this road up here, and we saw this like glowing blue, like the size of a softball object came flying up, and it was like flying along the car next to us, and then it flew in front of the windshield, and then it just shot up and went up through the trees.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. So there's stuff out there for sure.
Well, how are we going to stop this?
I say shoot them.
Well, I think they should. They should do something like that. But then they're saying, well, you can't shoot off guns in the area. It's against the law. I mean, okay, so come on, Iran, come on, China, come up our beaches. We're not going to shoot at you. It's against the law. Yeah. I mean, how ridiculous. I don't know. And then there's the conflict of having martial law in South Korea because of North Korea. And
it's getting crazy.
It's getting very crazy. I had a friend in South Korea. He's out, I hope. I think. I'm not quite sure. And I'm quite frankly afraid to say anything in emails or messages on Facebook or anything to him because they could be watching him and his family. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, he was working over there, so I don't know, but I'm worried about him. So I'm kind of going in back ways to try to see if he's okay. So what else is going to happen? I mean, I think, they're trying to convince us all that the bird flu is going to get us, that COVID is coming again, that we need all of these vaccines. Oh, I said the word that gets me banned from YouTube. naughty me. I can't say it in any form anymore or I get banned, but that's okay. I
Crazy.
don't care.
Did you see that there is a lab in Australia that had like 135 vials of pathogens stolen?
Yeah, monkey pot or something, wasn't
Well,
it?
there was I don't know, there was a few things, I guess, but that also makes you wonder, when you have
Well, sure.
dangerous stuff like
Yes.
that being stolen, could be used,
Well,
could be
first of
in
all,
drones. Who
they're
knows?
probably not supposed to be making what they're making.
Yeah, probably.
And secondly, sure, some terrorists got into it, some foreign enemy of ours. And then how do we know how many people now, because the military won't give us the truth, the intelligence people won't give us the truth. How many people are over here from foreign countries working in our labs? And our military hires so many civilians to go work in these places because they couldn't possibly have everybody that's enlisted be working in labs and things. They don't have the skills. They're warriors, and
Yeah.
we want warriors. So what do you think about, speaking of warriors, I haven't heard, what do you think about Pete Hegseth? You think he'll get in as defense
I mean,
secretary?
I think he will. I think there'll be opposition as always, but I think he'd be great.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think he would too. I think having somebody who's actually been on the field and with fellow military people would be really great. And he's young.
yeah. I mean, the biggest one I'm really loving is Kash Patel. He's the
Oh,
head of,
I do too.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
Terrific.
realize his total background. I was impressed with it when I read it. And I think he will be very good and really clean this up. And as everybody says, it's not the regular FBI agents in the field that are doing wrong. It's the upper echelons here that need to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's so corrupt. It just really is. And it pains me, and I know it pains my friends that were also in law enforcement, just seeing how
Mhm.
bad it's gotten.
Well, the one thing I thought, I heard them criticizing how the FBI handled the first assassination attempt on Trump. And they said, they didn't do anything to protect him. Well, they didn't. I mean, that were the leaders of the FBI who failed on that part. But I have to commend the regular agents who are in the protective unit. As soon as they heard that shot, they ran up there, they jumped over him, they laid down on top of him so he wouldn't get killed. And I commend them for doing their job like that. That's real bravery, quick
Yeah.
thinking. But then how stupid they didn't have the cars. Now, this again goes to the administrative part of it. Why didn't they have the transportation right there by the stage in case something like this did happen? It took them forever to get Trump away from that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far it was from there. It didn't seem like it was that far, but I just was going to say, like, that was a Secret Service that was covering him, but I think it's the FBI that's covering up for the Secret Service that didn't do
Yes,
their job.
yes.
I know that's what you meant. It's
Thank you.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, how corrupt, especially like, an agency that's supposed to be working on our behalf to keep us safe. That they've become so political. It's just crazy. But I heard Christopher Wray's going to resign, which is awesome.
Yes, yes. It's interesting that Trump is the one who appointed him. So
Yeah, I know.
he's getting out. Yeah,
I guess he
yeah,
got bamboozled on that.
yeah. Well, we're almost out of time. I want to talk about some things that are happening, and you can chime in on this. I've been looking for my listeners and other people at side hustles for people who are struggling financially now. But I am very if I would get involved with something, I would want it to be God-based, not something crazy just to make money. I would want it to help people and help myself. And I've looked at all sorts of different things, and I think I found the perfect one, which we will be talking about in later shows. And I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to let everybody know. I think you know what it is, Jeff. So we will have Georgie and you and me and everybody on to talk about that too, if you would like. We all have so many things in common. I don't know. Our good friend Melinda is the one who put us all together, Melinda Manos. So I thank her for getting us all together. So what are your plans for the holidays?
Well, we usually get together with my sister and her family, and they're going to be traveling this year, so I think it's going to be low key. We're not going to travel anywhere. We're going to stay home. So,
We are traveling to Santa Barbara.
Okay, it's a good place to go to.
See my daughter and her family, my grandchildren, our grandchildren, who 2 boys, 6 and 10. So we celebrated their birthdays late this year. Now I don't know what to get them for Christmas because we just gave them gifts that they wanted. This is the kind of a crazy season this year if you're not thinking about the birth of Christ and you're just thinking about the holidays. Having the Thanksgiving weekends is so close to Christmas that everybody's kind of in an uproar, and then right away comes the end of the year, and what are you going to do? And are we ready for the inauguration? Are we ready for this transition? Because a lot of people are saying that it could get real crazy in Washington, D.C. during this time. And, you know, then you have the guy who's mad at the insurance company, so he goes and kills somebody, the CEO. This is the crazy, crazy world we're living in now. And I don't know, do you want to be in big crowds? Do you want to be in Times Square for the dropping of the ball? I don't think so.
I wouldn't. No, I would keep away from large crowds. You know the guy that you just mentioned, the whole CEO thing. My mom's kind of funny. She watches Fox all the time, and
we get along really well.
she called me and she goes, "I have a theory," and I go, well, "Okay, what's that?" She goes, because she had heard that there might be some tie-in to with Pelosi and the CEO and their companies, and somebody had.
I heard the same thing.
Whether it's true or not, somebody said, "Oh, he was going to testify against her for some insider trading." Who knows? But my mom says, "I think he was hired, by, Fancy Nancy, and she told him, 'Don't worry, Biden's going to pardon you before he leaves.'"
Well, your mom might be right.
I thought, it kind of makes sense.
Well, it's pretty apparent Nancy was doing insider trading.
Yeah.
And she might be on the next pardon list. He came out with so many today. I talked about that earlier.
Did he actually list who he's pardoning on his list today?
No, he didn't. Not yet. But I expect him to. But these are all people that didn't commit violent crimes. It sounded to me like there were a lot of people that did something against COVID. I couldn't quite understand what his statement was. I mean, who can? So I don't know. But, well, who knows what Nancy would do? And by marriage, she's connected to Newsom, and look how crazy he is. He just wants to ruin California. I mean, the United States, like he's ruined California.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a rocky road there for a while, I think. I don't know. And you would think people in California would be fed up with this, but they kept those people in their seats. I don't know.
I don't know if it's just a bunch of, cheating going on or what, or just a lot of, and it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. but we'll see. Everybody seems to be very thrilled about what's going on, and they're excited and they're filled with joy, and people seem to be in a better mood. And, I don't know what gas is up by San Francisco, but we just have a new Walmart being built by us here in the desert. And I don't shop at Walmart. It drives me nuts. I can't do those kind of stores. They're too big for me. But they have a gas station there. So the gas now has dropped to $3.95 a gallon, which I know all over the country it's lower in different places, but that's really low for us here in California. $3.95 a gallon for premium.
Yeah, it's not that low here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, so I go in and I fill up the car and I use my credit card. And the next thing I know, I have a charge on my credit card for earphones that are $500.
Oh, God.
What? I didn't even go into Walmart. What's going on here? So apparently somebody had already gone through in the middle of the night and put little cameras in all of those tanks.
Yeah, that happened to me too once.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And I get them scams from PayPal all the time.
Yeah.
Did you just buy something else for $500? Because some of these places have this level where you can't buy over 500 or list something over 500. So it's nuts. Scam.
Yeah.
So watch out for them.
Yeah, they're all over. Check your emails and don't open things you don't, especially when like you said, when they send you an email from PayPal or, whoever it may be, like, oh, you just spent X amount of dollars. If this was a mistake, call us, because that's what they're trying to get you to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I just let those go, and pretty soon I've never been charged for it because they don't have the right information. I just want to talk about one more scam that's going on before we say goodbye until the following week. Bank fraud is going on big time, and JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, and people got scammed by just what I was saying, shopping areas that are broadcasting on Facebook or someplace else, and you click on them and then you get all your information, or people asking to cut your tax bill that you have. You can get rid of it from the government. And the other one is get rid of your credit cards debt. You have to be really careful with these things because there's a lot of scammers out there. And I can't even tell you which ones you should be able to do, but I'll tell you, in the JP Morgan Chase one, after $200,000 was stolen from one woman, and another one, there's different amounts on every one of them. They only pay 2% of your money back to you if you're scammed like that. Wells Fargo pays 4%, and Bank of America pays 29%, which is something to think about, because if your phone is stolen and they get it off of your phone information, they will pay you the full amount, is how I understand it. But if you have clicked on something on the internet, those are the percentages that they will pay you back of the money that was stolen from you. Now, I believe that there's going to have to be new rules for coming out from the feds that are controlling banks and things, that they're going to have to say any internet scam, you will be reimbursed up to whatever they're going to insure the accounts for. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Drones getting us, banks getting us, scammers getting us. On that note, I'm going to say thank you for dropping in to see us. I'm so happy you came. We always have such interesting conversations. I love it. We're going to keep playing your music. What was the name of it? A Christmas Promise is the album. And we're buying the book for Christmas gifts, Terminal Hitman and You Only Die Twice. What about it?
Terminal Hitman. That's the one I'm promoting right now.
That's okay. You have to get these. These are I want to call it tongue-in-cheek and really exciting detective stories, law enforcement stories. I love them. I think they're amusing. I really like them. So get on Amazon. You can look up his name or you can look up the name of the book. So get on there and check those out. And then I read you how to get this album. Go buy this album. All the proceeds go to the artist. Okay? And that would be a nice Christmas gift for them. So the same thing with Jeff's books. Nobody takes a cut of them. All righty, we're off air. Thank you.